all the listeners of Health Education Lecture Series. I'm your host, Gurdeep Singh Sandhu, homeopathic consultant. And I'm here to deliver another lecture of Health Education Lecture Series about abdomen. And as we know, we deliver all these lectures in three languages, one by one on different days. Yesterday it was in Hindi lecture, and before that, day before that, you can say it was in Punjabi. So we are describing this health education lectures in all the three languages so that every person who can understand any of the three languages can understand what I'm saying and what I want to convey you about the health educations, how the body was formed, how the life is going on, what are the hurdles in the life, and what are the organs who are participating to produce a normal life, what is their functioning, everything set by set, time to time I'm describing to you, so that everyone, not only the doctors, yes, doctors have their special criteria. Even normally, suppose any expert of any trade, any business, they are dealing with many of those kind of peoples, and they have more knowledge about that one, no doubt, as the doctors are visiting many of the patients and they are dealing with those ones, so they understand more things. But an individual patient is not having all the symptoms of all the patients suffering from the same disease, even suffering from same disease, and every patient is not having the same symptoms. There are some difference, and every patient has similar. It's not that they are having the similar kind of medications or same kind of medications or same kind of precautions and same kind of causative factors for all that one, because in allopathic styles, the causative factors for the diseases are only termed as pathological or the physical causes, visible causes, you can say that. Bacteria, viruses, parasites, fungus, all these things, they are considered as the causative factor of the diseases in the prevalent modern medical science. But homeopathic does not. Homeopathic do not consider that these are the causative factor of the diseases. Yes, they may excite the conditions. They may excite the condition, but it's not necessary that they are responsible for producing those things. Many a times in these programs, I have given you the examples. The first of all, your curd has a tendency to intervened by the bacteria, and then only bacteria enters. So suppose in soil, not in all soils, all vegetables, all plants can grow because they are not having suitable environment or suitable soil over there where they can grow. Many of the things can grow in the dry areas. Many of the things can grow in the wet areas, and it's a difference. In this way, persons suffering from any disease, they are having a susceptibility to accept the effect of a particular type of bacteria, virus, or fungus, or what else they are able to produce the diseases. But actually, there is a tendency of the persons, there is a susceptibility of the persons. And if the person is not susceptible, I can give you one example, more important example: COVID-19. You all of you know that it was a killing millions of people all over the world, and it's known as pandemic disease. And in Punjabi, you can say the Mahamari. So this pandemic disease involves country to country. And even then, not all the 100% people were suffering from this pending disease. No, it was affecting only those people who were susceptible to this kind of environment, to this kind of viruses, and that is why they were suffering. Even if one family member is in the family suffering from the any type of infectious diseases, it's not that all the people will suffer from that one. Yes, ultimately they may create. Sometimes they are all the time exposed to any infectious disease, and at any point they may become weak and they may be affected with that disease, but not always. You might have seen that the people's in one family, one person is having tuberculosis, and all the people are living in the same home, but they do not suffer from the tuberculosis always. No, because they are not susceptible to. They are not susceptible to what? To to accept the effects of bacterial and that tubercular bacillus, and what type of reaction any tubercle bacillus is producing, what type of reaction any virus is producing, what type of reaction any parasite is affecting, what type of reaction any fungus is producing inside the body. If the body is not susceptible to that, if body is stronger than that one, he will not suffer from those kind of conditions. Even then, in the whole home environment, all those bacteria, viruses are in abundance. If they are in abundance and all the people of the families are taking breathing in the same air, same environments, but even then they are not suffering, means their body was not susceptible to accept the effects of that bacteria. In the same way, all the people were not suffering from COVID and this kind of all pandemic diseases, which was affecting most of the peoples. Yes, most of the peoples are affected, and many times in these lectures I have explained you why. Nowadays, why more of the peoples are being affected from this kind of virulent disease. If it happens in some area, it affects the whole area of that area that's localized, or even in general, because the transportation is that big that people are traveling from one country to the other, and from one city to the other, from one state to the others, and all that. If they are having those susceptible type of bacteria, viruses, fungus, whatever, and when they are in close relation and close city, you can say, with the other persons who are healthy. Otherwise, not all the persons who are in contact with that will suffer from the disease. Only those will accept the influence who are susceptible to. Just like a disease developed in China, and some of the person who were affected with that one, they are traveling in the airplane has various passengers, 200, 300 passengers in one planes, and not all the persons are susceptible to accept the effect of that disease. That is why not all the persons are suffering from that one, but even then, some of the person within the vicinity of the aeroplane, they may be susceptible and they may suffer from the same disease what a person was suffering from when he was in China. So in this way, bacterias and viruses, fungus, and all these things, they are not disease producing agent as they are considered. No, in all malarial areas, there is a mosquito in abundance, but not all the persons are suffering from malarial parasites. All the persons are not having it. Mosquito bites everyone, but not all the persons are affected with the malarial fever or positive blood culture. So they are not. So it depends upon the individual susceptibility of towards the influences of any disease producing agent. Yes, bacteria, we can say that these are disease producing agents, but it is not necessary that all the agents will be stronger than and it will affect to all the persons. It's not. It's not that one. So in this way, the susceptibility of the person is the base for producing the disease. And if we accept this thing, that susceptibility of the person is the base of being accepted, being accepting the effects of any disease producing agent, any bacteria, any virus, anything will affect. They are prevailing everywhere, but they will affect only those persons who are susceptible to affect the individuals. Sometimes you fight with someone, and ultimately, with that fight, there are many people in the crowd, but all the peoples are not affected by that fight equally. Every person has their own level of susceptibility to affect the influences of what is going on over there, fighting, abusing, biting, everything. But all the persons are not affected with that. Even mentally, later on, all the persons are having different thinking that who was that fault. So every person will be having a different opinion for that one. The same thing I want to convey that disease producing agents can produce disease only in susceptible individuals whose vitality is susceptible to that kind of influence which is produced by the material type of bacteria, parasites, viruses, and all that one. But because it is visible, not with the open eyes, but it is visible by the microscopic and other ultrasound and ultra vision type of things, and then all the persons are blaming these four things: parasite, virus, fungus, parasite, bacteria, viruses. They are visible either by open eye or by microscope. And that is why we blame to them. And in a prevalent system of treatments, until and unless they find out any this kind of bacteria and this kind of disease producing agent, they say, no, we do not know about the disease and we are unable to treat that. Just take some symptomatic medications. Ultimately, it will produce changes inside the body, it will damage the organs, and then we will find it out what medicine could be helpful so that we can prevent this type of damage in the liver, this type of damage in the lungs, this type of damage in the intestines, and that. It means we are waiting for. It's just type of joking that a person having simple sneezing, coryza, cold, goes to the doctor, specialist, chest specialist, and ultimately he go to them. And doctor, after taking all the tests, oh, there is no tuberculosis, there is nothing like that. Oh, no, 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 no. You are not having any specific type of disease. Go back, and when you will be having pneumonia or tuberculosis, then come to me. This is what's going on. In the initial stage, when a person falls sick, at that time, there is no any physical change. Physical change means we have created a medical standard of health. Medical standard of health says that all the functioning which we can recognize physically are running smoothly. Just like the blood pressure, it's 120 over 80. Just like the breathing, it's 14 to 16 times per minute. 80 milligram of sugar per 100 ml of blood is criteria. The cholesterol, the maximum limit is 200, and there are different limits of the HDL, LDL, and very high lipoprotein proteins and all that one. So we have created a criteria, and according to that we measure that what's wrong in this body. But beyond that limit, I'm talking to you. When a person falls sick means when a person accepts the influences of any disease producing agent. I'm not saying the malaria, I'm not saying the tuberculosis, I'm not naming any bacteria or viruses or anything. I'm blaming the susceptibility of the person, the individual criteria. If it is susceptible, then and only then he will fall sick. So whenever a person feels that, oh, I'm okay, I don't feel anything, I'm healthy, I can walk, I can work, I can talk, whatever. Every norms of the body is normal. It means we consider he is not sick. But in the initial stage, contrary to this, but in the initial stage, if a person says, yeah, I'm not hungry, I have no appetite, I do not sleep well, disturbance sleep, I'm unable to walk regularly, I'm unable to work regularly. So these are the initial things which are the influences of the disease producing agents, and the body is susceptible to that. But at that time, if you go to the doctor and he prescribes some, okay, go to the lab and get it done. And the lab test will say everything is under normal limits or at normal limits. Whatever the medical standard internationally is known, according to that one, a person is having the normal type of things or even sub less than that. We say, no, 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 you are normal. There's nothing wrong with your body. Everything is in under limit. If it's under limit, then we do not consider patient. But the patient says, I'm not feeling good. It has no physical explanation. But ultimately, explanation starts coming. I cannot work. I cannot sleep. I have irritations. I have this and that. So whatever he will tell, that will not show any physical change inside your body, but mentally you will feel something which is not normal, which is not normal. So that is the initial stage of the disease, that we should know that this body is susceptible to some type of disease producing influences. At that time we may not find any bacteria, or we may not find anything else inside the system. Means susceptibility is a condition of our health which produces ultimately some symptoms, which produces some disturbances in our normal go of life. So in this way, we initially our standard, suppose you can say in homeopathic style, our standard of saying one individual is sick or not, it is depending on the subjective symptoms. Means before any pathological change, any bacteria, any virus, any fungus is visible by its serums, by its blood, by its urine, by its stool, if he says, I'm not feeling well, I cannot sleep well, I'm not hungry as usual. So these are the subjective symptom and subjective explanation of his susceptibility influenced by any disease producing agents. Ultimately, it will show up. At this time, at this stage, it's not possible that it can show up himself, and then we can find it out in sputum and urine and stool and anywhere. We do not find it out. But still, these signs are indicative of that something is going wrong. And who produces that something is going wrong? Some influences. This vitality, the life force, is responsible for the normal functioning of this body as well as the abnormal functioning of this body. And if the body is running normal, it means our vital force is not susceptible to any injurious type of influences. It's going normal, or it's combating all those things, fighting with all those things, and is stronger than, so do not feel any abnormal. But when it starts feeling anything abnormal from the normal conditions, it means this vitality is under influence of any other influence of disease producing environment, disease producing agents, disease producing diet criteria, all these things. Anything can happen. Any can produce a disease producing type of environment or disease producing susceptibility in our body. So, in this way, we cannot blame any bacteria, any virus, any fungus that they are responsible in the initial stage for producing a disease. It is it is our susceptibility. If we are stronger enough to fight all the environmental things, or to eat everything whatever comes in our mind, and we can digest that one, we will not suffer from any disease. But sometimes the normal usual things which you are taking normally every day with your diet and every behavior which you are adopting in a routine of your life, sometimes the condition comes that you do not remain normal, and these influences are influencing your vital principle, and you feel something awkward. You do not feel normal. And how you do not feel normal, how we can recognize that? We recognize this thing, that our vital force is under influence of any disease, under effect of influence of any disease producing agent. So in this way, this is the condition of susceptibility, that our soil is now susceptible to grow something, whatever is there. Sometimes the seeds remains many months, many years inside the earth. They do not grow because they are not having any susceptibility of that type. But under, and then the environment change. Then the environment change, or whatever the nutrients or from the air, from the earth, they need, they are provided by the environment or by any means, and then they grow. So in this way, I want to convey that one. The disease producing agents are all around in our environment. Millions type of bacteria are circulating in our air, and the same way many things disease producing, which ultimately produce the disease due to its influence, are in our diet. And many things make the susceptibility more sensitive because of your living standard, because of your living behavior styles, and you suffer from the diseases. One environment you are living in, and you are living in that environment for many years, you do not suffer that from any disease. But ultimately, a stage comes that you are working in the same condition, in the same environment, in the same room or same machine, whatever, but ultimately you start feeling sick. When your body is accepting the influence of disease producing powers. So then, at that time, you feel, I'm sick. Though openly you say, nothing has changed, food condition has not changed, environment is same environment, I'm working, and I have not changed anything in my behavior, in my day-to-day life. Even then I feel something. It means feeling something is the influence in the initial stage of any disease. So when a person otherwise healthy says, yeah, I am not feeling good, I feel tiredness, I do not sleep well, and all these initial symptoms are these symptoms of the vitality when it is under influence of any disease producing agents. So I think I have repeated many a times that the persons fall sick not because of the bacteria or viruses and all that, but the person falls sick when their body is susceptible to accept their influences. A person is abusing you, and you are not taking care. Your mind is somewhere else. You do not think what he said. Someone standing on your side may understand that what he is saying to you, but you have not taken care of that one. You are busy thinking something else. Nothing will happen. But if you are seriously thinking about him and he is abusing you, definitely it will hurt you. It will change your mentality. It will change your normal living behaviors. Same way is the other disease producing agents which are in your surrounding environments, which are in your diet day to day, which are in your living day to day, and they are not influencing you because you are not taking their response. Your vitality is not taking their response. But when your body or your vitality accept the responses of that kind of things, you suffer from disease. So, in this way, what I want to convey you by saying this thing, try to make yourself healthy. Susceptibilities are always created susceptibilities. Disease producing condition of our bodies are created by ourselves, and this is known as acquired causes of the disease. Acquired. You acquired yourself. You created this environment around you, and ultimately you are depressed, you are feeling that kind of things which are affecting your day to day life, and you fall sick. So in this way, day to day life, if you are healthy otherwise, you will not suffer from any problem, any disease. If you take care of your day to day working, your day to day influences, what is influencing us? Oh, you are taking pepper. Oh, it's irritating our throat, irritating our stomach and intestines and all that one. You know that. What is this one? You feel burning in the abdomen, pain in the abdomen, burping, or all that one. This pepper will produce as disease producing agent, but the other people will take the same type of peppers. They will not suffer from because they are not susceptible to that one. You are susceptible to that one. So susceptibility of the body, that is basically the other name you can say. You have heard many times the immunity. If you are immune to anything, that thing will not affect you because you are immune to. Just we are pouring water on the stone. Stone is immune to accept the effects of that water. In this way, if our body is not prone to accept the influences of any other thing, which may be disease producing something else, you will not suffer. But if you are susceptible, and ultimately when you go on, ultimately your mindset accept some type of things, and your immune system is weak. You are taking normal food, you are having normal living standards and everything, but a sick person is talking to you, or many of the peoples are talking to you are in this way. If you live like that one, if you eat like all these things, ultimately you will fall sick, and ultimately it is influencing your mind, it is mesmerizing your mind, and ultimately the condition will come that you will fall sick. Same thing which you are accepting normally, it was you are not susceptible and you are not feeling any sickness, but ultimately with the influence of other peoples, you will feel sick. So this is known as immunity, and This immunity relatively is depending upon our metabolic rate. Metabolic rate means how much you earn, how much you spend, how many calories you are producing by your food, or how many calories you invest for day to day life, and how many calories you are preserving. From a child, you will become a young man, bold man. Ultimately, what it shows that your metabolic rate, which is composed of two things. One is known as anabolic rate, the other is known as catabolic rates. Anabolic rate is just saying how much you earn. That's that's anabolic rate, increasing, earning. And out of that earn, how much you spend. If your expenditures are less than your earning, means if your anabolic rate is more than your catabolic rate, you will become healthy. And from child, you will grow a young man. But ultimately, a stage will come and your anabolic rate will decline gradually. Not because that you are not taking healthy food and you are not taking exercise. No. Ultimately, ultimately, your body cells are consuming the food, environment, everything, and they are having some residual inside your body. And ultimately, there's residue over the time develops in quantity and quality. And then when they are increased to a some extent that the function of that cell is hurt, is disturbed, under those conditions, all the organelles inside a cell, they are not able to produce the normal energy. They are not able to work normally as they were working previously, and your anabolic rate is high. Now they are declining. They are unable to go every day for their job and every day to earn money. The same way, when the cells are having a residual material inside them, which was supposed to be discharged, discarded from the cell every day, which is, if it's not done, then ultimately you will having a maximum residue in your cells, and there are trillions of cells inside the body. I'm not talking about the one cell. And the trillions of cells, when they are having a residual material inside the body, which should be evacuated every day to day, then you will decline in your immunity, you will decline in your anabolic rates. And what happened? Catabolic rate, destruction rate, and declining rate of your health will increase, and you will grow old. This is what this factor of senility is considered. This is considered as the senility, budapa, old age. That's why we become old in this way. And side by side, not only that we become old in this way, our susceptibility to disease producing influences is increased because our protecting power is weak. There is a big reason. What the you can say other things, what all the different organelles are doing inside the body: nucleus, Golgi body, mitochondria, centrosome, lysosomes. All these things, they are having their different functions. But now they are not having sufficient space, and still there is a garbage inside the cell. They are unable to work normally. And when they are unable to work normally, they are unable to produce the required energy to run this body normally. And ultimately, what will happen? The anabolic rate will decline and the catabolic rate will increase, and you will be susceptible to all the influences. And one after the other disease you will suffer, one after the other condition you will suffer from. So this is what the basic of all the treatments. Maybe it is allopathic, maybe ayurvedic, maybe homeopathic, maybe anything else. The basis of all the treatments, all the medical sciences, are to increase the anabolic rate in whatever way they are treating. In whatever way they are treating, whatever their treatment is, way of treatment is, the basic route is to increase the anabolic rate, and which is only possible if you evacuate, clean up the cells, which you clean up the cells by removing the extra garbage which is time to time, day to day, has been accumulated inside the cell wall, and the organelles inside the cells are not able to work properly. Ultimately, how you can do that? To oxidate food you are taking, everybody is taking the food, but if you are healthy, you can take more food. It's not necessary that you take extra food and you will become healthy. No, not at all. How much food is consumed and how much energy has been created with that food depend upon the how much garbage is there, how much food you have converted into energy. That becomes that how much extra garbage has been deposited into the cell. Even if you are taking 4 chapatis every day, but now you started taking only 2 chapatis, does not mean that you will become weak. If your cells are working normally, they can extract whatever energy they want to take it from, that means minerals, vitamins, and everything. Whatever you are taking in the foods will be, suppose just like cane sugar. You take a ras. Indian Punjabi people understand that the ganna, our that machine velena, if it's perfectly normal, even cane with less use, we can get maximum out of it. But if that machine is not working now, you can say the machine is not compactly squeezing the cane, then ultimately, even with the good type of cane, you cannot get the food. You can get the more juice. So the requirement of the body is 1700 calories per hour should be produced by any food so that every cell can get normal energy. 1700 calories per hour. And if we take a small quantity of food which is capable of producing this type of energy, you need not to take more food. But if you take more food, and ultimately you need only 1700 calories that will be excreted from that one, and what will be the other food will go? That will produce garbage. That will produce garbage, and over time that garbage will increase inside your body, and your cell will not be able to consume that one. Even with healthy food, sometimes you see the people working class in our community, they are not having that much healthy foods. They cannot eat meat every day, they cannot eat eggs every day, and all these things, healthy foods which we are normally considering, they are unable to. But ultimately you will see they are more energetic than the other persons, because whatever food they are taking, maximum juices are excreted from that one with their day-to-day activity, and there is nothing remaining garbage inside the cells. Energy is more than 1700 calories. They are doing that one. Why people's drinking or taking wine, they are more active? Because when you feel, oh, I'm just intoxicated, at that time 5000 calories are produced, and we need only 1700 calories. What will do? That will burn everything inside your body, and the cells in that heat will not be able to squeeze or to do whatever they are supposed to do. They cannot be. Ultimately you will become weak. Why the addicted people, the intoxicated people become weak? And even sometimes you can say, you can question it, that yeah, people who are drinking wine or all that one every day, they are fatty, they are bulky. Why? Because body is unable to dispose of the extra fats from the body. and there are some storehouse inside our body, and they are stored over there. That is why that is not utilized to be converted into energy. They cannot produce the normal quality of the calories of the energies, but they are lying deposited in our abdomen, in our hips, in our chest, in our arms, and all that. People are still, but they are not active. They are not healthy. Healthy means when they are active and they can do whatever they want to. But when a bulky body wants to do everything, they cannot. It means it is not healthy that they are bulky. They are having heavy body. They are eating more rich food with the meat, eggs, and all those things. No, they are not healthy. Healthy means when all your organelles are functioning normally and producing the normal energy which is required by the body, and all the organs inside the body are getting that energy and working normally, whatever their ability is to do. So in this way, in this day, the definition of health is also related to the metabolic rate. Now come to the physical level. Physically, first of all, I told you about that susceptibility, and susceptibility is depending upon the metabolic rate. Metabolic rate is anabolic rate and catabolic rates. Who is responsible inside the body to produce normal anabolic rate or normal metabolic rates? That is the thyroid gland inside our body. And thyroid gland is stimulated by a master gland that is situated in our brain, that is known as the pituitary gland. Pituitary gland produces various hormones by its anterior portion and the posterior portion. It's a small, tiny top, only you can say a rice size gland, and it has two portions, anterior and posterior, and it is producing about 11 type of different hormones in that one, out of which one is known as TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, which stimulates the thyroid gland to function normally, and the function of the thyroid gland is to maintain the metabolic rate. So whatever you are eating, whatever you are not eating, you are fasting, everything, if you are not eating, you are on fast, but body needs 17 calories of heat. What the thyroid will do? Thyroid will take extra fat deposited in some tissues, and ultimately it will recycle the fat inside your body, wherever it is, and it will put into the recirculation, recycling of that one. This is the function of thyroid gland. But suppose if you are on death fast, marnavarth, if you are at that condition, and ultimately the residual balance of your extra fat inside the body, which was supposed to be used to create energy, recycling by the thyroid gland, there will be no extra fat, and ultimately you will slim down. And ultimately with this slimming, when you will take extra type of things from the tissues, which was, now there is no deposition, now there is no extra things, and then under those conditions, there is one condition that is known as ketosis. A type of toxicity will be produced inside there. You own a house, you have to pay mortgage, you have to pay monthly statements, but now you are unable to pay because you are not having a bank balance. Under those conditions, ultimately, this is the thyroid gland which maintains, as far as possible we can maintain my installments, okay, in whatever way I want to live in the house. This is my house and I have to pay the mortgage. In this way, this all these things are maintained by the thyroid gland. Anabolic rate and metabolic rates are maintained by thyroid gland, though it is supported and initiated by the pituitary gland. And one thing very astonishing, this thyroid gland is initiated by hypothalamus, a portion of the brain that's known as the thalamus. Thalamus is a piece of organ inside the brain, and under this thalamus there is a small gland which stimulates the pituitary gland. And now, ultimate, ultimate, who stimulates all these glands? These are known as endocrine glands. And the function of the endocrine gland is just like the matchbox lighter. If you are having everything, and gas is there and everything, but you do not have match, you do have a light to burn the gas, nothing will happen. You cannot cook anything. In this way, all these glands I just noted, I told you about, there's a hypothalamus gland, pituitary gland, thyroid gland, pituitary gland, testosterone gland, pituitary gland, stimulates the ovary, and estrogen, progesterone gland. Many other hormones are there, and their purpose is to ignite fire, just like matchbox. And these are only working normally if the anabolic rate, again relatively, everything is depending on each other. If the anabolic rate is normal inside the body, ultimately, if there is no diet, there is no food, there is no any, you can say, the quality producing or quantity producing anything which can produce the energy, normal energy, ultimately these, even the pituitary gland, even thyroid gland, even hypothyroid gland, or even suprarenal gland, they cannot do anything. They cannot do anything because they are not provided the normal energy to produce or to work their normal. So means, to produce fire, every endocrine gland needs a particular type of energy, and that particular type of energy stimulates a particular type of gland for their normal function, and it ignites fire. It starts fire inside the body to cook everything. It's not that we cook food outside and we eat, it's cooked food. No, the body then again recook this food so that this food be utilized by all these organs to produce energy. So in this way, I'm telling you because we are limited to the anabolic rate and all that one. So I am talking about the metabolic rate that is directly related with the thyroid gland. And thyroid gland, food of thyroid gland, we eat food, they don't need extra vitamins, they don't need any extra fat, they don't need any, but what they need iodine. They need iodine for their normal function. So what will happen? The food will circulate inside the body through the blood, and ultimately that blood will go to the thyroid gland, and the thyroid gland will take the iodine from that one. And if there is no sufficient iodine, it means even if you are eating bulk of a food, there is no iodine, and it means you are not supporting anyway to your thyroid glands, and thyroid gland will not function normally. And even after eating normal food, healthy food, and your metabolic rate is not maintained, either you will become more bulky, either you will slim down. As I have told in my previous lectures, that the function of the thyroid gland of two types. One is known as hypothyroidism. The other is known as hyperthyroidism. If you supply everything extra, ultimately it has to burn it out more things, and that is known as hyperthyroidism. When you are running at the speed of 5 kilometers, normal speed, no problem. But if you are forced to run at 10 kilometers per hour, it will be difficult for you, and ultimately there may be a reason that you will fall down. It may be reason that you may be more dry, more drinking water, and you are not having water at that time. So what will happen? Under those conditions, if there is a hyperthyroidism, If there is a hyperthyroidism, under those conditions, all the activities of body are accelerated more than normal, and there are chances to fall down, and there are chances that ultimately somewhere you can fall. You cannot maintain that higher speed. Everything is there. Palpitation is there. Excessive sweating is there. Dryness of the mouth is there. Falling of the hairs is there. So there are many more things I have noted in my previous lectures, that if there is hyperthyroidism, then you will be having these kind of signs. You can fall down, cracking joints, cramps in the joints. All these things can happen. And even after eating more and more food, it is consumed more and more. Even then, you are slimming, not bulky. And the eyes, even the eyebrows, you can check the persons who are having hyperthyroidism. You will see the eyebrow; they are losing the eyebrows. And this is not only the eyebrows. Everywhere you will see the growth of the hair is dependent upon some other factors, including testosterone hormones. Just like in the man's, we have beards, mustaches, because of testosterone hormone, and it is initiated by thyroid gland. And if it's hyperthyroidism, you will see the hairs are falling, and even the eyebrows are losing. They are having only hairs just close to the nose, and all these things becoming empty. And from outside, you can see, oh, you are having hyperthyroidism. And the diet of the thyroidism is iodine. In whatever way, you have to give him normal diet. The normal diet for the thyroid gland is the iodine. So you have to make sure that whatever food you are taking, in that food there is a sufficient iodine contents. Just like the fish, they are having iodine. Just like the green vegetables, they are having iodines. Even the tomatoes, they are having iodines. But if you are not consuming these kind of things, ultimately the portion of the iodine will not be assimilated inside the blood, and that will not be given to normal quantity to the thyroid gland. It will become weak. So the basic thing I'm telling you day to day, that we should have a normal content of our diet, normal vitamins, normal minerals, normal all these things, coppers, magnesiums, and all that. If the magnesium is not normal, you will feel joint pains. If the potassium is not normal, you will be having heart problems. If you have sodium problems, you will be having swelling and deposition inside the body. So all the minerals, all the contents of our food should be a quantitative and qualitative, so that body can take from the quality and quantity, and can take quantitative materials what they need. There is a bulk, but you are taking the quality from out of that bulk. So if the system is okay, these are dependent on the two things. Whether the system is okay, sometimes you take healthy food, but even then you are becoming weak, because from the intestines, from your food, the normal contents are not squeezed, and they are not assimilated, means they are not mixed into the blood. I have told you many times how this process is going on. When you take food, it goes to the intestines, and then how the normal quantity of the minerals, the vitamins, everything has been squeezed from the intestines, and it goes to the blood. So next time again I will explain all these things, that how it happens, because now we are at the chapter of abdomen. And in this chapter, we will discuss everything, how the food is assimilated in the blood, and how you have to maintain a balanced diet, so that everything normal goes to the blood and every organ is working in a normal order. And even if the food is there, but our igniting power, matchbox, all the endocrine glands are not working normally, then everything will remain over there. Whatever you eat, fat deposition, everything, magnesium deposition, everything will be in excess, and you will not be able to work normally. And that is the hypothyroidism that produces hypothyroidism, and you becomes more bulky, heavy body, but unable to function normally, unable to work actively. So all these things I have discussed previously, will not go to that one because today's time is over. And tomorrow I will describe about the abdomen. And I think that that lecture will be in Punjabi lecture, because yesterday was Hindi and the day before it was in Punjabi, and today is in English. And tomorrow I will describe how we can divide this abdomen to understand normally, easily, what are the contents of abdomen. In my last lecture, I have described about the walls, the boundaries of the abdomen, upper boundary, lower boundary, and sidewise boundary, how it is constructed, this abdomen. And next, I will describe how we can understand easily what are the organs, where they are in the abdomen, to find them out. So that will be divided. The abdomen, we will divide it into different portions, different parts, and I will let you know what are the contents inside that, in that area. And if someone is suffering from any problem in the abdomen, just like a patient goes to the doctor and says, "Oh, doctor, I am having pain abdomen." You have just said the pain abdomen, but it's a big question for the physicians, for the doctors to find it out where this pain is, why this pain is, what especially organ is affected in the abdomen, which is causing the pain. That's a big, big thing, because there are many more organs inside the abdomen, and they are situated in their particular position inside the abdomen. This is what I will let you know, that what are the organs in different sites of the abdomen, and what they are doing inside the abdomen. And if they are having pain, means this is the shortest word to explain the disease, explain pain. Why this is pain? What's the change behind that one? That's the second question. But the first thing, when you are suffering from any disease, the first thing and the shortest word is the pain. So to explain that pain, I will let you know if it's a kidney pain, if it's the intestinal pain, if it's a spleen pain, if it's a gallbladder pain, if something, any glandular type of things over there pain, if there is a mesentery pain. There are many things I will explain you, that you, without going to the doctor, before going to the doctors, you can understand that this pain is because of this, and this pain is because I have done this thing. And ultimately, if you avoid those causative factors, you will start feeling better immediately before going to the doctor as well. So this is what I will explain tomorrow, and that will be in Punjabi. And I request to all of you, if you feel that you are getting some knowledge from these lectures, please tell your relatives, your friends. They can join me on Facebook as a Facebook friend, or you can join me my YouTube channel, and also the Sabrang radio stations, Pravaz radio stations. You can join the Punjab radio station. There are many more radios joining me, and I give them free lectures. I give them free lectures so that this message should be conveyed to the masses in public, and they should be aware of their body. They should be aware of the functioning of the body and get health. They remain healthy. So this is my purpose at this time. So help me to get this purpose done, to reach to the maximum public, convey this message to all your relatives, dear and friends, and all those, so that they can learn, they can join all this medias in different radio stations, and understand the body, understand the life, understand how they fall sick, understand that how they can cure themselves. Thank you all listening, and Rab Rakha. God bless you all. We'll see you tomorrow in Punjabi lecture about the sections of the abdomen. Thank you.